everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. I'm Kirsten, and in today's video we are going to be doing the first episode of my new drugstore beginner-friendly makeup series. I have been really finding the best of the drugstore makeup. Most of it is under $5 each, and I feel like I've got a pretty good makeup kit here. So this is something that I've been wanting to do because when I first got into makeup, I didn't know where to start or what half the stuff was that was on the shelves in Ulta or Sephora. So I just wanted to start a series for you guys to have something to build off of. The first thing that I want to mention about this though is that makeup has absolutely no rules other than do what you like. So this is just going to be what I like, and it's going to be kind of like my preference. So on my face today is only products that I'll be mentioning today. I just want to show you how I kind of achieve my style of makeup, and then further on in the series I might try and show you like different kinds of makeup and different kinds of styles of makeup, but I really just wanted this to be super beginner friendly. In today's video specifically, we are going to be going over the ultimate drugstore starter kits. All of the makeup that I'm going to be talking about fits in this bag. I actually just got this bag from Ulta. It was like a free gift with purchase. And then I also have makeup tools to talk about. So we're going to get into this as well, but this is a full-on makeup kit. It's going to include the tools and the makeup that you will need to create a full face of makeup in the similar style that I tend to go for. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into this makeup drugstore starter kit. I'm just going to probably go in order of the face. So this was one product I actually just decided to add into this because I do feel like it's necessary. I will put it out there. It's very polarizing. This is a setting spray, and people either really feel like it's necessary or really feel like it's not. But I feel like you could use a setting spray like this as a primer and a setting spray, so you get dual purpose out of it. So that's why I decided to put this in this video. So this setting spray is the most expensive product in this kit. It is $12. Again, ColourPop also has a lot of sales, but if you can use it as a primer and a setting spray, then it's like $6 each. So it's a little bit over $5 per product. But I've tried one from e.l.f. too, and it's $10, but this one has more product and I like it better. So I just decided that it would be okay to include this. This is more of an optional product. Just take it as you will, but I am going to include it because I will be using it throughout this series while doing my makeup. Personally, I think that setting sprays can actually be really beneficial for beginners, especially because if you go a little bit overboard with the powder products and your face is looking a little bit cakey, a setting spray can really make a huge difference, and it can really transform your whole look. So I think it's necessary, and I wanted to include it. Next up is going to be foundation. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation, and I have been obsessed with this foundation. I tried this out in my full face of e.l.f., and I can have that linked in the eye and down below, but this is so good. This is one of those products that retails for $6, but I got it for $4.20. I'm telling you guys, e.l.f. always has a sale. This is the best affordable drugstore foundation that I have ever personally tried, and I really think that it'd be good for anyone to use. It's described very well. It's described as a flawless satin foundation, so it's not too glowy, it's not matte, but I also feel like it's not going to be really drying on someone with dry skin. I have dry skin. But I also don't think it's going to emphasize any oiliness of someone who has a more oily skin type. So I really feel like this foundation is good all around the board. It's super affordable, so you're not going to lose a lot if somehow it doesn't work out for you. I'm really liking this foundation, and I think that it's a really, really great starting point to kind of figure out what you like and what your skin preferences are. Next up is another product from e.l.f. that I think is really great for a drugstore starter kit. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and it says it has a satin finish. And this, I'll be honest, is not my favorite concealer out of my entire collection, but for the price and for a beginner, it's really good. And on top of that, it is just a really good concealer. It does have pretty good coverage, and it blends out pretty nicely. Again, this is a product I feel like would be pretty helpful for any kind of skin type. I don't think that it's too drying, but I don't think it's really oily. It sets down pretty nicely, and it does have a slight glow, kind of like that satin finish that it claims. I do think that this is a really good value and option for a starter kit. Next up is a powder. Now, I love this powder. Let me say that. I love the formula. However, I just got this powder 2 weeks ago, so I wanted to be like totally transparent with you guys that I have already used up a good bit of this. So the reason I'm still putting this in here is because I think that starting out, it's a really good idea to get a very affordable powder and also a pressed powder, not a loose one, because that's like really messy and just not as user-friendly. This powder is only $3 full price. So again, you can get it on sale, all that kind of stuff, but it is disappointing, truthfully, that I've hit pan. I want to look past that though, the amount of products, because it's a really good powder for starters, because you can kind of see if you actually like powder. Typically, I would only actually put powder underneath my eyes, but for some reason lately I've been setting my whole face with powder, which is why I've run through this so quickly. So I do still suggest picking this up if you're looking for a powder and trying to find out if you actually would want to use one, because if you end up being like me and normally only putting it under the eyes, you wouldn't go through it as quickly, or you might actually find out that you don't even like powder. So I do feel like this is a really good one for a starter kit. Next up is bronzer, and this is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. This is another one that's like $6, you can get it cheaper, but it's really good. And especially if you have fair skin like I do, this is a really great bronzer. I've got it on today, so I have it kind of like here and up on my forehead, and it's very buildable, but I do think that they have multiple shades of this, so you could definitely pick up a deeper shade if you didn't want to have to build it as much, or if your skin tone is deeper than mine. But I think that this is a really great formula for beginners, because it's not that kind of bronzer where you're gonna put too much on right away and then have trouble blending it out. It's a very beginner-friendly bronzer. Next up is blush, and this is the one from Essence. This is the Mosaic blush. I picked this up this week because I wasn't exactly over the moon about any of the affordable blushes that I had picked up for this video series, and I have used this for about 5 days straight now. I love this. So I got this in the shade All You Need Is Pink, but they do have more than one. They've also got some other like satin blushes that are really great, and I think this is either $2.99 or $3.99. I'll put the price on the screen, but here's the color of that, and I have it on today as well. It's just a very neutral, like natural looking blush. Again, Essence has a ton of colors, so if the Mosaic blushes are going to be too light for you, definitely check out their satin ones. I really feel like this is a formula where you just can't go wrong, and I love how cute it is too. Like the Mosaic one just looks so pretty. Wow, I didn't mention this. Everything that I am mentioning is a cruelty-free product. So you might be able to find some stuff from like Wet n Wild if you want just the affordability. I'm not judging anyone if that's what you pick up. Those are really great options, but I personally try to only purchase cruelty-free makeup. Not always. I do have some products from non-cruelty-free brands, but I really try to stay away from brands that test on animals. So I had a really hard time finding a highlight specifically from a cruelty-free brand that was under $5. Last minute, I decided to check out Dollar Tree, and LA Colors has these highlights, and they're really good. Now, let me tell you, the plastic packaging is crap. Like, you gotta get past the packaging, okay? But the product on the inside is so good. So this one is in the shade Shine Bright, and it's kind of just like a light gold, like champagne color. Again, I have it on today, and I just think it's really good, especially for the price. Like, it's $1, but this is just a really pretty highlight. I feel like it's a pretty neutral tone, but they've got like 3 or 4 colors, and I actually picked up another one, but this is the one I decided to put in this video and have in this kit for the series because it's the most neutral and would go with the most things, but you can really build it up to be pretty blinding, or you can use it kind of like I did today and just do it a little bit more natural, like a glow. It's a really, really good highlight. So there's only a couple categories where I'm actually going to have multiple products as options, and eyeshadow is going to be one of them. So these are the two that I think I'm going to focus on the most. So the first one is going to be this Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. This is what I have on my eyes today, and it's one of their new 6-pan palettes. These are incredible. Like, you cannot go wrong. They're $3.99 from Ulta, and they're just so good. I do have all of them, but I did want to mention eyeshadow is so personal. If you don't like eyeshadow, don't worry about this. Don't pick any of them up. But if you really want to get into eyeshadow, the 4 that I would suggest are these 4. So Coral Me Maybe, which let me show you the inside of these. So I would suggest Coral Me Maybe, Dancing Greens, or Dancing Green, Taupe It Up. Taupe It Up is very, very light though. And then the last one that I would suggest is Bronze This Way. But I actually do not suggest either one of these unless you just are dying to try out one of these colors. But this is the I Like to Mauve It Mauve It. This gets very muddy and very like gray and murky on the eyes. I just don't think it's really that good. The Eye Size Baby is a little bit better, but it's pretty patchy and it's just a little bit harder to work with. So I personally would steer clear of the two of these. The other option that I have is this one from e.l.f. I had this one and I decluttered it because I do have these shades elsewhere in my collection. However, for a beginner, I feel like this is just perfect. So this is the e.l.f. Rose Water Quad. They've got tons of quads, especially the cream and sugar one. I feel like for beginners too would be great because it's so neutral. So again, today I'm using the Coral Me Maybe, but in the future I will probably go between the two of these for this video series. Next up is another like optional product. I feel like a lot of everyday people really like to have one of these. This is an eyelash curler. I got this from e.l.f. and it's their $4 eyelash curler and it's very nice. It's good quality. I don't think an eyelash curler is a necessity unless you like that look, and especially if you have really straight lashes, you might really need one of these in your makeup routine. So I wanted to mention this one. It's a pretty good eyelash curler. Next up for lashes is this mascara from Essence. So this is the Lash Princess mascara, but it's the curl and volume one. They have a ton of options. So there are two main kinds of mascara wands. This is one of them, and it's like a more natural brush, like the bristles on it are a little bit more natural, and it's a little bit more like soft and fluffy. I prefer this kind of wand versus the other option. Other option is something like this. This is the CoverGirl Lash Blast Mascara, and this is a plastic bristled wand where the little bristles are a little bit more spiky. I sometimes think that they can like scratch your eye a little bit. That's not my favorite kind of wand, but this is a pretty good mascara. But the reason that I am suggesting this one is because it's very affordable and Essence has a lot of different brush styles. So I feel like if you wanted to try this, you could look at all the different ones. This is the one that I have on my lashes today, and I just think it's great. So this is the one that I will be using and suggesting going forward with this series. Except for brows, I've got two products from e.l.f. I have the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I have both of these in the shade Taupe. So this one has a very fine tipped brow pencil on one side, and again, mine's in the shade Taupe, so it's kind of hard to see here, but you can just use this to make very fine sort of hair-like strokes in your brow. And then on the other end, it has a spoolie, which you can use to brush your brow out, and if you put a little bit too much product, this can kind of help disperse it. And then I also put in the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is a tinted brow gel that has little fibers in it, so it's going to help kind of build up volume in your brow. And I think depending on what your brows look like, you might prefer one or the other or both. I feel like there's a different reason to use each, and we'll get a little bit more into that, but I do suggest both of these depending on your needs. I used both in my brows today. Next up is a product that I feel like some people won't think is necessary, but I swear by this. This is $7. So it's again a little bit over that $5 mark, but this is the NYX Glitter Glue. I have had this for over, I think about a year now, and I'm just now starting to see like a little dent in it. This is a glitter glue that you can use for shimmery eyeshadows. Personally, I don't think that you need an eyeshadow base right away. I feel like a concealer and a powder can do just fine, especially for matte shades. But what this does is you can lay down your matte shades in an eyeshadow palette. So for instance, today with this Coral Me Maybe palette, I just put the e.l.f. concealer on my eyelids. I used that powder and ran it all over the eyelid. And then I used the two lightest matte shades all over my crease and kind of like up towards my brow. And then I got a little bit of this glitter glue and I tapped it on my eyelid. And then I put the shimmer shades on top of that, and it just helps the shimmer shades like really stick down to your eyelid. It can prevent glitter fallout, which just means that glitter is like falling from your eyelid onto your cheeks or all over your face, which typically you wouldn't really want to happen. But I just really think that this is a necessity in a makeup bag if you're going to use any shimmery eyeshadow. It doesn't have to be a loose glitter. It can really be like any shimmery shadow at all. Next up, we have lipsticks. So I do have two options again, and this is kind of if you prefer more like warm tone corally color or a more cool tone pinky color. So for the more warm toned, I picked this one called Nectar. This is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lipstick. It's a really pretty shade. So it's what I have on my lips today, but I do have the gloss that I'm gonna mention on top. But it is just a more like orangey tone lipstick, but you can kind of blot it out on your lips and it's not as pigmented, but it's just a really nice formula. And especially for everyday, I feel like it's a pretty neutral color. It's just a little bit warm tone. For the more cool tone option, this is the NYX lipstick in the shade Thalia. I got this from their website for, again, about $3. And it is just a pinky mauve color. NYX has a ton of lipsticks, and you can find NYX in a lot of different places in store. Unfortunately, I think this line is mostly just online, but they have so many lip products, but specifically this one is in the shade Thalia. I will have every product I'm talking about linked down below for your convenience to shop if you're interested in any of these. None of them are affiliate links, it's just to help you guys out. But I feel like with the two of these, you get all of the variety that you would need for an everyday makeup bag, especially a beginner makeup bag. So I really feel like this is just a perfect accumulation. And I decided to add a gloss. So I actually went today and picked this up. I have had these from so many years in the past, but I just didn't have one right now. But this is the NYX Butter Gloss. This is also $5. I have this in the shade Madeline because I wanted to pick a shade that could work for either the warm tone or the cool tone lipstick because it is a very neutral gloss. So it's here and it actually shears out pretty well. So I do feel like it would work either on its own or you could put on top of either gloss. And I just think it's a really pretty lip gloss. That's all the makeup products. Let's move into the makeup tools. Starting with the sponge, this is the Shop Miss A $1.55 Paw Paw sponge. This is the best sponge that I have found. This one is a new one. This is the one that I used today. You can see like the difference too. So most of the time you want to get your sponge wet. Some people prefer not to, but it makes it a lot more squishy, whereas this one is more firm. So when you're pressing products into your skin, the wetness of the sponge helps everything like melt together, but it also just feels more comfortable than like smacking your face with this because it's pretty firm. So yeah, this is the one I'm actually using, but I do think that this is perfect for starters. I love it. Also from Shop Miss A, this is a brush set. I am so excited about this brush set because I do have some more high-end brushes that I love, but you don't have to invest in your brushes. It's kind of fun to have some higher quality brushes because they do feel a little bit more luxe and more heavy, but this brush set retails for $10. It comes in a little case. The one that it's in now is the one that it comes with. So it comes with a little traveling case, and it also comes with these 10 brushes. So I picked this up, and every video that I use moving forward with this series, I will be using solely these brushes and that sponge, as well as the makeup products I talked about. We'll start out with these like shorter, kind of like kabuki styled brushes. So this one is the F27, and it is a more like flat topped kabuki brush. This one's perfect for foundation. I did not use these brushes today because I washed them last night to show you in today's video. They did wash very well. They held up nicely. Next up is this brush, which is the number F26. This is a more like powder friendly brush, so it's a little bit more domed. It's really fluffy. The only brush I don't think I'm really gonna use is this paddle brush. I just don't really like paddle brushes, but you still get 9 amazing brushes, and then, you know, maybe you'll use this one for something. This is the F29. Next up is this brush, which is the F30. This is a little bit smaller but more densely packed brush. This one is also great. I like this one a lot for powder underneath the eyes because this one doesn't really fit as well underneath, so you can use this one to really target powder. My favorite brush in this collection is this one. This is the F28. I use this for bronzer and then also for blush. This is just such a good brush. I wish that this whole kit came with 2 of these versus the paddle brush, but maybe someone uses paddle brushes. I don't know. I just don't. And then we have 5 different eye brushes, so this gives you a lot of variety. You've got 2 more kind of like crease brushes, and then you've got an angled liner brush. a flat shader brush, and then a pencil brush. So you really do have a lot of options here as far as eye brushes go. And I feel like overall this whole brush set is just amazing. Last up for my beginner makeup kit, I feel like this makes a huge difference. This is just a washcloth. I would try and find one that's pretty soft. Like this one is not rough in texture at all. If you get one that's a little bit more rough, make sure to wash it with some fabric softener or something first so that you're not hurting your skin. But for the most part, you'll just be using it to like maybe wipe up some product on your arms, or what I really feel like this makes a huge difference for, and I'll be using it moving forward in this series, is to wipe your brushes off in between uses. So every now and then I will use this to like wipe something up off my face or whatever. That's why I mentioned it being soft, but the main reason is this. I use this brush for both bronzer and blush. So if I don't want those two products to really be like mixed on my cheek, I will just wipe it off after I use my bronzer. Then I can use it for blush, and it just makes it a lot easier. And on that same note, if you only have this brush set or a similar one, you can use it for your eyeshadow brushes as well if you want to go between colors. So you don't have to have so many brushes in your collection, because you can just wipe them off on the washcloth. But alright guys, that is everything I wanted to mention in this beginner drugstore makeup kit video. It got a little bit longer than I expected it to, but honestly, I just wanted to kind of talk through some of the products with you, because this is really meant to be the starter kit for all of the videos to come. Moving forward, I'll be posting one episode of this series per week, and I'm gonna start out with just like how-to videos, like how to apply base products and then cheek products, eye products, you get the point. If there is any video that you want to see, send me a message on my Instagram, or you can comment down below, because this is really for you guys. I'm not a beginner in makeup. I have been putting on makeup for years and I just love it. I love the process of it. I love the creativity aspect. So of course, if there's something that I do or a product that I use that you don't want to use, or you don't feel like you enjoy, don't use it. Don't take any of this too seriously. This is just a resource for you guys to have. I'm gonna stop talking now because I think you can tell I'm just really excited for this series, but be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you are excited for this beginner makeup series here on my channel, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you guys won't miss any of these episodes. Again, I do plan to post these once a week, so yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next week with the next episode. Bye!